Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. Today, on the occasion of Vijay Divas, we will talk about the 1971 India Pakistan war and what lessons Pakistan has learned from that debacle. On this day in 1971, Pakistan suffered the most humiliating defeat at the hands of India in a 13-day war, which resulted in the creation of Bangladesh as a separate nation. Though the war was started by Pakistan, it ended with 93,000 of its troops surrendering before the Indian army. That victory remains unmatched anywhere in the world, even till today. So, what are the takeaways from that war? Did Pakistan learn any lessons from that defeat? We will analyze such questions in the agenda today. We have with us retired Brigadier Vinod Datta and Group Captain MJ Augustine Vinod. But before we begin our conversation, let's have a look at this small report.
It was perhaps the shortest war ever, which resulted in the biggest victory for India and the most humiliating defeat for Pakistan. On December 16, 1971, the Pakistan army surrendered to India in East Pakistan, and 93,000 of its troops were taken as prisoners of war by India. The war also led to birth of Bangladesh, whose population was fighting for freedom from Pakistani rule because of the brutalities and atrocities committed on them by the Pakistani authorities since 1947. The surrender in East Pakistan had become inevitable for the Pakistan army as it was surrounded from all sides. The Indian army offered two choices to the Pakistan army: surrender or you'll be killed. So for Pakistan Army's Corps Commander in East Pakistan, Lieutenant General A.A.K. Niazi, it was a bitter choice, and he chose the humiliating surrender rather than annihilation of troops under his command. Interestingly, till a day prior to the announcement of surrender, General Niazi maintained that the Pakistani army would fight till the last man standing and there was no question of surrender. In fact, the Pakistan army also kept fooling its citizens by planting stories that it had an upper arm in the war and Indian army was facing reverses. But ultimately, the Pakistan army did not have the spirit to fight and laid down its arm and along with it, its respect. It may be highlighted that after accepting surrender by the Pakistan army, the Indian army showed an exemplary behavior of treating the enemy soldiers with dignity. The Indian army also ensured protection to the Pakistani troops from the angry Bengalis who were baying for the blood to avenge the brutalities inflicted on them over decades. The 93,000 Pakistani troops were also evacuated in batches by the Indian army from Dard in East Pakistan, which later became Bangladesh. There are many lessons for Pakistan to learn from that war, but has it learnt any? Bureau Report.
Now, let's welcome our guests, Brigadier Datta and Group Captain Vinod. Welcome to the program.
Jai Hind.
So, let me begin by asking Brigadier Datta about 1971, which remains the unmatched victory anywhere in the world. So, it was very humiliating for Pakistan army to surrender and so many troops surrendering. What is your view? Has Pakistan learned any lessons from that?
अजय जी जय हिंद। सबसे पहले मैं श्रद्धांजलि देना चाहूँगा। My tribute to all the officers, junior commissioned officers and the men who laid their life and who made supreme sacrifice during this battle. And also my respect to the Veer Naris who have taken this loss and making India proud by allowing or by the supreme sacrifice of their husbands, sons, brothers, and whatever relations they had. Yes, Ajay ji, it was a crushing defeat for Pakistan, and Pakistan has been trying for last so many wars. If you start from 1948, 1965, and come 1971, and they were expecting that yes, America is going to help them, and they are going to have a two-front war, and India will not be able to take on because they had seen some exciting moments in 1965 war where Pakistan did, achieve some gains, but ultimately was pushed back and they were defeated. And yes, 1971 war is a textbook war, and it has gone down in the annals of history that never ever 93,000 people have surrendered after defeat. And Lieutenant General Amir Abdullah Khan Niazi, who was the Eastern Army commander in East Pakistan, had tears when he surrendered, and he put his pistol on ground in front of the Eastern Army commander, Lieutenant Jasjeet Arora.
Okay, let me now go to Group Captain Vinod. So, as Brigadier Datta mentioned about Niazi, that he had tears in his eyes. But I may point out that Niazi, till maybe one day prior to the surrender, kept saying that we are winning, Pakistan is winning and India is losing. And I think they continue to do the same thing even today. What do you say on that?
You got it absolutely right, Ajay. And I will quickly echo what Brigadier Datta said. Convey my not only condolences to people who lost their lives, but to those ones who never returned home. There are a lot of them supposedly have been languishing in jail and probably perished there in 71.
I'll come to that question. I have that question. I'll come to that later. So first answer.
Yeah, so like good soldiers and law-abiding people, we gave them 93,000, but they held some of us back.
Our 53 POWs are still nowhere, and they have even not accepted. That is the Pakistan Army.
Absolutely. So we'll come to that as we go along. But the question is, what did they learn? I mean, apart from the largest POW that we had, after El Alamein, the largest tank carnage happened, if you remember, in Ramgarh, in that area. I mean, El Alamein, if it was the largest during World War. Next was the Battle of Longewala, and there the amount of tanks that got destroyed of Pakistanis. Now, what did they learn? And I've tweeted about it. They have learned a lot. I remember when I was born and when I was young, we used to look up to Pakistan still as a sane nation, probably. But down the road, it completely lost. It learned everything that is not supposed to be learned. Like Honhar Vivan going haywire as he grows. That is how happened to Pakistan. And look where Pakistan is today. Both of us got independence at the same time. And look where India is today. Pakistan went down the track of self-destruction. Pakistan went down the track of to be known as the terror capital of the world. And what has gone wrong? For them to reach this point is what I've been thinking about since the time I was to debate today. And I've come across three main reasons, Ajayji. The first and the foremost reason which I feel is, and sad to say, it is true, it is an Islamization of a nation. If you find a nation on a religion or a certain book, which does not augur well with the rest of the world, then this is what probably you will get. And secondly, yes, there are nations which, in spite of being Islamic nations, have prospered well. That is because they had a lot of money, which unfortunately Pakistan did not have. So it did not have the financial backing to carry on its ideology. And third and most important is non-inclusiveness. Though it broke away from us, it still had people from other communities as well, and amongst Muslims it had two large sects namely Shia and Sunni, and they never got along amongst themselves. So all put together, these three reasons put together is what Pakistan reached and got an epithet of terror capital of the world. Yes, they learnt a lot. They learnt a lot how to lose. They learned how to be an ostrich, like you rightly said. General Niazi, jinke successor is current Mr. Niazi, who is sitting on the chair, is एक दिन पहले तक he did not know he is losing.
No, even
how much can you tell you?
No, they knew they were losing, but they did not want to accept it. And even today, many Pakistanis are claiming that they won that war.
we carved a nation out of them, sir. One new nation was formed called Bangladesh in 71. East Pakistan. And I remember reading about it as well. The Russian premier at that time said, whatever it's worth, he said, two nations separated so many kilometers apart is not going to stand.
Right. So, Brigadier Datta.
So, yes, they learnt a lot.
So, Brigadier Datta, they learnt a lot. They learnt, I guess, how to master in propaganda, I guess. That is the one thing they have learned. And they have mastered that art. As I said, many Pakistanis still believe that they won that war even after 93,000 soldiers surrendering, and they think that they won that war.
Yeah. In fact, you are because जिस तरह का the kind of propaganda which Pakistan has mastered. If you remember the kind of broadcast which used to come, or the psychological warfare Pakistan had started, they had said कि हमारी फौजें अब सुबह का नाश्ता अमृतसर में होगा और इंशाल्लाह जो शाम की जो नमाज है वो जामा मस्जिद में पढ़ी जाएगी. और इस तरह से the way they misled their people, because they could not take that India is going to cut Pakistan to size. And in D.R. Mankekar's book Pakistan Cut to Size, it has been so comprehensive and so nicely brought out that where all Pakistan failed. And one thing lessons learnt is Pakistan has learnt one lesson, that yes, they cannot take India. So what they are going to do is that theory, which came, bleed India by 1,000 cuts.
Through proxy war.
Now they start.
No direct war,
yeah, the proxy war. Yeah, the proxy war they initiated, and they wanted to destabilize. And if you go back in history, you will realize in 1948 also they had launched an offensive just to infiltrate some terrorists. In 65 also, if you see in that Akhnur dagger, they wanted to again infiltrate some terrorists to destabilize Kashmir.
But this is always misleading. They were not only purely terrorists. They were, of course, irregulars who were guided and trained by army, and they were part of regulars.
Yeah, they were part of regulars. They were part
but
of regulars.
They were camouflaged as irregulars.
Rajakars, they were part of regulars. Unko to Kabailiyon ka, they were in the disguise of Kabailis.
Right.
But they were properly trained, and it was a pre-planned operation.
And latest we saw in Kargil also, same thing.
In 99 Kargil also, they came as Gujars and Bakarwals. So India has understood the kind of tactics Pakistan is going to adopt. And Pakistan also, I have said on various occasions also that Kashmir is such a card in Pakistan. If you do not play this card, the army is not going to survive. And army is part of Troika there. And army is running virtually the entire Pakistan business, the entire Pakistan economy. And if you see like ISI and all such like organizations, it is basically the Pakistan army, which is the oil of the Pakistan economy.
So Brigadier Datta, since you mentioned Kashmir, so when we talk about lessons learned by Pakistan, so I may highlight the lessons learned by India. I mean, what I see is that we had captured so much of land, territory of Pakistan. We had 93,000 of their soldiers in our captivity, but we did not bargain well. It's my belief. I am convinced that we could have settled that Kashmir issue at that time. You please vacate that. We will release your 93,000. but we just gave away those gains. We just gave away those gains. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I agree with you because you see, we lost both the 3,000 lives in 1971 and similar casualties in 1965, and we had gains in terms of territory. We had gains in terms of capturing the armament, equipment, and some of the enclaves and bulges which we had captured. They
And
would have
live
improved
soldiers,
our
93,000 live soldiers.
93,000. Yeah,
We could have
I mean, which
bargained for
is
anything.
unparalleled. Yeah, we could have bargained, but unfortunately, in Shimla agreement, we came to back to square one, which is very very
That was
discouraging.
that was very loss for. I will go to Group Captain Vinod. That was a big loss for India. We did not do it well. We did not bargain well, and we let the whole games go waste. What do you say?
Absolutely, sir. And in fact, other than 93,000 soldiers, we had large swath of land. One major loss, in my opinion,
We were in Sialkot.
very
We were in Lahore. We had captured everything there. We could have bargained for everything.
No, Lahore was still an IB sector. A sector which agreed upon international boundary was there. In my opinion, the most strategic place that we bargained for a quid pro quo action here and there was the Hajipir Pass. So many lives were lost in Hajipir. Now we would have had the Mughal road connecting Srinagar and not through Banial Pass, Ramban Banial Pass. Imagine the strategic reach we would have had and two-pronged entry into Srinagar we would have had we not bargained.
No, Group Captain, I am saying that we could have got entire J&K back. We could have forced Pakistan to vacate that territory. Yeah. If you want 93,000 soldiers, please vacate J&K entirely.
Absolutely, sir. We showed haste. Now, coming back to the flavor of today's talk, was that what did it learn? Now, I feel, there are certain turning points in history that leads a nation down the garden path or nation down the road of Barbadi. Every nation has its own pitfalls, etc. Democracy has its own problems. The politics has its own issues. At that point in time, probably the national mood in Pakistan was that a Fauj take over kar le, because Fauj has got a little bit of discipline, and then the nation would become better. But the nation, instead of becoming better in those four dictators that came to power, those four turning points, I feel, in history has taken the nation of Pakistan down the road of Barbadi. The first one, which was celebrated and very little less known, was 1958 coup. Iskandar Mirza. There was another coup before that, but not so very well known. It didn't create so much of ripple by Major General Ghulam. But the two major coups that we know of, the latest one, how it ended up, and the previous one, how he got all the, he Islamized the known standing military. Can you believe that?
And then he went away with mangoes.
1,000. And like Brigadier said, he brought in this 1,000 cut philosophy, which came and cut him, cutting him even today, because for these 1,000 cuts, the terrorists ko palna tha.
So that is my point. If we had settled Kashmir issue, then had we retreated all Kashmir land, we would not have been seeing this problem today of 1,000 cuts.
Is 1,000 cut ke liye, he suffered 10,000 cuts. The entire FATA of his is a safe haven for terrorists. Why? Because he had to follow these people for cutting us in 1,000 places for 1,000 cuts.
Right.
उसको पालने के लिए जो आस्तीन के सांप इन्होंने पाले हैं, the entire northern region north of their Punjab has gone to dogs because of this. And they are not realizing that is the worst part, like Mr. Niazi. not this Niazi who is sitting on the chair, the previous Niazi who lost the war and gave his gun to us. So ये एक दिन तक इनको नहीं पता लगता है कि भैया ये हम हार रहे हैं. The entire north, entire POK, the entire Neelam Valley, ये अभी भी पिछड़ा हुआ है. There is no water, there is no food, there is no connectivity there. It is like some 17th century place. Why? He had to do on us. And rest of the people, like Brigadier said, continued with that policy and continued with the rhetoric because that is their survival. Now, I don't know. I had a lot of hopes from the current cricketer Prime Minister because he came with a lot of big talks. But all that went down the drain the moment he talked pro Fauj.
But sir,
we Fauj, like Brigadier said, is running everything other than.
We need to realize that all prime ministers are just puppets of army, Pakistan army. So Imran Niazi will do nothing. Whatever army says, he will do.
If you
remember
his talks, sir.
Yeah, I know, I remember.
If you remember his talks, वो बोलते थे फौज ये करता है मैं फौज को सीधा करता हूँ. I was thinking, चलो, this nation is now
that is when he was in opposition.
Absolutely.
Same Fauj brought him to government. So Brigadier Datta, Brigadier Datta, one more thing what I want to point out, we did not bargain well was about the POWs. Now we had there 93,000 POWs and we released them and in fact safely evacuated them from Bangladesh, East Pakistan as it was known, because Bengalis were up in rage and they wanted to lynch them. And Indian army safely evacuated them. And what did we get in return? Our 53 POWs, even we don't know. Even Pakistan has been in denial mode. Where are those soldiers? Where are our people?
Yeah, Kaul Saab, that's a very relevant and a very emotional question you have asked, and you have very rightly brought out that we treated them like prisoners of war as per Geneva Convention. We gave them the value or the status which a prisoner of war should get, and we treated them like warriors. Unfortunately, our own soldiers, and I vividly recall a letter written by Major A.K. Suri to his father, and the first letter, which he got it posted through some, inmates, which said that, your son touches your feet. And one of the prisoners was Major Suri. His photograph, it came on Time magazine. And it was confirmed that he is in Kot Lakhpat jail. Flight Lieutenant Tambe, Mrs. Tambe visited the jail. She was shown some of the prisoners from a considerable distance where she could not recognize, and they just passed through her sight for a few seconds. She was not given a fair trial, a fair chance to go and meet them. Whereas in India, the prisoner of war, I was a kid, I visited one of these camps where they were, given so much of respect. The chief of the army staff, that time, General Manek Shah, he used to visit the camps. He used to visit their latrines. He used to visit their bathrooms. He used to eat and taste food of their langar. And one of the Subedar Major of Pakistan Army, he had tears in his eyes and told General कि साहब अगर आप बुरा न माने तो आपको एक चीज बताता हूं, हमने ये सुना था कि भारतीय फौज एक बहुत ही आला दर्जे की फौज है, वहां के जो अफसरान हैं उनकी बड़ी इज्जत होती है. आज पता लगा कि भारतीय फौज में भारत के जो सेना के अफसर हैं उनकी इज्जत क्यों होती है, क्योंकि आप अगर एक दुश्मन देश के सैनिकों का इतना वेलफेयर देख सकते हैं तो अपनी सेना का कितना वेलफेयर देखते होंगे. तो इस तरह की, क्योंकि जो पाकिस्तान आर्मी है वहां अय्याशी, वहां बिल्कुल देशद्रोह की बातें, एक दूसरे का गला काटना. देखिए, विद्रोह तो पाकिस्तान के खून में है. जैसा अभी ग्रुपी विनोद ने बताया था कि 1958 में इस्कंदर मिर्जा को उनका तख्ता पलट दिया गया. 1978 में दोबारा एक कू हुआ. 1999 में फिर कू हुआ जब नवाज शरीफ को बिल्कुल गद्दी से हटा दिया गया. अब आप टाइम कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए, बिल्कुल सही समय हो गया है. 20 साल बाद एक न्याजी ने ईस्ट पाकिस्तान दे दिया, दूसरा न्याजी वेस्ट पाकिस्तान देने को तैयार बैठा है।
Right.
तो जिस
So,
तरह से
Yeah, our time is running out, so I want to ask Group Captain Vinod one last question. It's like after East Bangladesh, there was uprising. Similar situation exists in Balochistan, Sindh, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So, is that the ready-made explosives there which
See,
can be utilized?
thanks for asking that question, Ajay, and let me quickly cover that as it is. I was going to cover that.
Yeah.
See, हमारी कमियां जो थी, आपने एक कमी निकाली थी, 93,000 फौज we gave and we didn't get back something. But there is another historic kami other than, of course, losing Haji Pir Pass, is that not looking after the interest of Balochistan. That has been our major drawback since independence. These guys quietly went and usurped that land and made an independent Balochistan part of Pakistan. And today, what is happening? The Chinese people have invaded Balochistan for its riches and the CPEC that is going through it. I believe we are doing something to help Baluch and make another, carve out one more nation which originally was an independent nation,
Right.
more independent probably than Bangladesh. I hope we are going to use this next issue that Pakistan wants to do with us to carve out Balochistan and free Balochistan.
Right. Maybe we can have another discussion on that, Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Pakhtunkhwa and Sindh. But for today, thank you both of you for participating in this debate. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.